This video was brought to you by NCIX. Great technology, selection, and service.
Hey guys, this is Dmitry with Haruknux, and today we've got the Acer Iconia W3. With Windows 8 tablets slowly emerging onto the market, you've got to ask yourself to why they matter and who are they competing against. With iOS and Android dominating the tablet and smartphone scene, there's still plenty of reasons to opt out for a Windows 8 machine as your alternative portable device. Well, because you get full Office suite, which is included with the Iconia W3, and not the limited version found on iOS or Android. And you can finally work with Windows 8 OS the way it was intended, with touch. The Iconia W3 is an 8.1-inch device, the smallest in its category and one of the least expensive Windows 8 tablets out there, retailing for $299 for a 32GB version and $369 for the 64GB model. This is about $200 less than the competing devices from Asus, Lenovo or Samsung, which makes the W3 an attractive choice because of the size, but also the price. It is slightly thicker than similarly sized tablets, weighs about 500 grams, but absolutely fine for one hand holding. Now, it's not the most hideous tablet out there, but the black screen bezel and the white plastic frame around and the metallic plastic at the bottom just seem out of place. Now, it's nice they're trying to be different from the conventional black style, but perhaps the simpler the better. It is a responsive and fluid tablet in Metro UI, running Intel Atom dual-core 1.5 GHz and with 2 GB of RAM. For browsing the web, YouTube playback, and working on documents, it will do just fine, plus a few casual games here and there. Wake-up times are good, but there is that occasional hiccup with apps. Given the screen size, precise navigation is more difficult, at times frustrating, having to constantly miss the desired location on the screen. No wonder we haven't seen an 8-inch Windows tablet yet. Also, W3 gets quite hot in the top portion of the device near the front-facing camera, that using it in landscape mode gets quite uncomfortable, and reverting it into a portrait mode to keep your hands cool is the only option. The flash storage included with the device is quite slow. Running HT-Tune, the transfer rate is slower than your regular 7200 RPM drive, so just something to keep in mind. All of the buttons and connections are scattered around with power button, micro USB for data only, you're not able to charge the tablet through this port, and micro HDMI located at the top. Stereo speakers, headphone and power jack located at the bottom, and volume rocker plus a micro SD card slot on the side. Now, watching videos in landscape mode and you get that one-sided audio effect because the speaker location. It is not ideal and quickly gets annoying for any video playback. Now, the biggest issue with the Iconia W3 is the display. The resolution on this tablet is perfectly fine with 1280 by 800, but it's the color reproduction and the very visible grain in the panel itself that makes this one of the worst displays I've ever seen on a tablet, if not the worst. The grain is especially visible on lighter backgrounds, looks almost like digital noise. It gives the impression of a pixelated screen, which it is not. At 186 ppi, text looks sharp and perfectly clear with the size of the screen, and the embedded grain in the panel is completely unacceptable decision from Acer. This is by far the biggest turnoff with the W3, and I'm surprised this was released like that. The color reproduction is not as vibrant as we've come to expect from tablets and has a very warm overtone on the whites. Furthermore, the viewing angles are very limited. There's a huge contrast drop with vertical angles, especially when leaning the tablet towards you in portrait mode. It resembles a very poor TN panel. Side-to-side viewing is much improved, however, with no contrast drop or color shift, but still I question Acer's decision to release a very competitive device like this with such a terrible display. Yes, it is more portable than the competition, and yes, it is slightly cheaper, but I would rather see a non-grainy and usable screen for a bit more cash. Of course, Windows 8 is huge. Thank God we have a micro SD card slot and micro USB for additional storage, as out of the box our 32GB model is full with just over 3GB of free space. By far the best thing about the tablet, which surprised me, was how long it lasted. With a 3400 mAh battery pack, I got over 8 hours of mixed use with medium brightness, plus a really fast recharge rate is always a bonus. Honestly, the Iconia W3 feels rushed and unpolished. A better screen would have turned things around for this Windows 8 tablet, as its portable factor, more aggressive pricing, micro HDMI port, decent battery life, and the included Office suite are all irrelevant when the basic feature of a handheld device, such as the screen, is so terribly designed. Stereo speakers are completely out of place, and having only 3GB of free space out of the box is so limiting I wonder why the 32GB capacity is even an option. While the performance is acceptable with the Atom processor, if your main tasks include browsing the web, entertainment and social media, there's absolutely no advantage going with Windows 8 unless you seriously require that full Office suite. The concept of packing a full desktop experience into a tablet is very appealing. It's the execution with the Iconia W3 that is not, and you are best to look elsewhere. So thanks guys for watching, we'll see you in the next review.